Hey, welcome to Alien.
Yeah.
This is Heart of Darkness. This is session zero. So we're just going to go ahead and get introductions out of the way. Obviously, this is going to be tonally a lot different than the game will be. As a session zero, we're not really playing the game. All we're doing here is kind of getting to know one another, although we already kind of did that with one shot last time we played. Um, and we're also kind of getting to know our characters. Now, for the purposes of this session, if you are really interested in watching the campaign unfold as it does, there may be points where we switch our voice chat to private between me and one other individual, where we discuss some matters that will be kind of foreshadowing into what happens with the game, as the way narrative play work, or sorry, yeah, narrative play or cinematic play works for Alien. That's kind of something that's always like on the table. So we kind of have to deal with that. And if you are not interested in um, spoilers, so to speak, or kind of like an understanding of what the characters are prior to the story kind of being rolled out, you personally may not be interested in this session in particular, and that's fine. It's not for you. It's for us. Um, so I think we've gone through introductions with everybody, but we're going to go ahead and just do them again. We'll start with Kimmy. Tell us about yourself. You don't have to talk about your character because they don't exist yet.
Okay. My name is Kimmy. I live in Texas. I don't know what to say. I'm married. I have a dog and a cat.
Right on. Um, After the first introduction, I realize we've already done this. So if you are interested in everybody introducing themselves, I will. Sorry, Kimmy, to make you the only one who did it.
Oh no! Everybody's doing it now. No,
Okay,
no.
fuck it.
I'll do it.
Fine.
I'll do
Sorry.
it.
Well, Michael's
You may.
volunteering. You're up
I'm doing it.
next.
I'm doing it. Yeah, you can't even stop me. I'm going to. Well, yeah, I'll start. So I'm Michael. I play in a decent amount of John's games, especially more recently again. Mostly Cyberpunk. Started off in D&D, and now we're giving this a shot. Loved doing the one shot that we did to learn the game a little bit. It was very fun. I love the how thematic it was. So I'm super excited to get into this. Um, Aside from that, I am just your normal nerd, board gamer, you know, tabletop role playing game, video gamer, all that good stuff. So that's
Brent.
me.
Brent, go.
Uh, Hi, I'm Brent. I play video games and in D&Ds. I am very much excited to die and lose my R-named character and not get an R-named character back.
Okay. And we'll discuss a bit about how that'll work too. Because again, we are doing a bit of a hybrid, but again, I'll talk more on that later. Lark, go ahead.
Always
Hi,
last.
I'm Lark. I play games. I'm a scientist in real life. Um, yep. This is my favorite franchise for movies, so yay.
And John, of course, last but not least, go ahead.
I'm John. Been in a few of his games. I keep fish, play the Lego, play the game. I promise not to make an android this time.
By which he means he's playing an android.
I
Okay.
don't. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't trust that.
Even if he says he isn't, he's gonna be a secret android. Um, so let's discuss a bit real quick. So we're running the campaign Heart of Darkness, which is one of a series of modules that were put out by Free. What's it called? Free Publishing, I think it's called. My brain's dumb right now. I'm gonna remember the name of this company. If it kills me, Free League Publishing. That's the ticket. They do a couple of other IPs. Blade Runner is the other known one off the top of my head. Um, but this one in particular kind of comes at you in a couple of different ways to play. Now, the one we did last time and the one we did for the Patreon, Chariot of the Gods, um, they are two separate kind of storyline modules. The one we did last time is the in the core rulebook, and it's there to kind of have like a situation where people understand what is happening narratively if you're familiar with the Aliens, etc. franchise. Um, And the Chariot of the Gods one comes in a starter kit, which is supposed to be run in a cinematic way. Now, these cinematic games that they run, these box sets, which includes Heart of Darkness, mind you, they come with pre-packaged characters, which are expected to be the characters that you are playing with for these stories. Now, I've watched a couple of folks online play this story. They all use the same characters. I've watched a lot of playthroughs of it. I've read through the entirety of it. And I am a glutton for punishment, but I also enjoy freedom in narrative for the players. So I have in my mind guardrails that I'll be kind of putting in place to kind of make sure the story kind of goes the way I want it to. And that has been kind of put forward to the group based on what roles they're allowed to play for their characters. And there are other things that'll be kind of put into the game through, suggestion, manipulation, and other seduction is another option that I have on my docket of skills that I can employ here to make sure that the people play kind of in a way that works for the narrative. But I'm not here to just do the same story, and I don't expect that of the crew we have here. I have an idea of what I want, but I fully anticipate these absolute psychopaths to put forward things that will be either more interesting or will amplify what's already kind of on the table. Once we are done with Heart of Darkness, if anyone survives this narrative, the survivors of that story will then move into what I will be doing for a more traditional variation of campaign play. And to just put it on the table too, it will be more in the line of the kind of Kenner toy line comic books, where it's done in an almost episodic way, but will be much more serious than those comics, obviously. But if you're familiar with what I just said, you have any understanding as to what that means, great. If not, you'll find out. That'll be fine. So we discussed pre-game which roles are available. The crew of this crew here is the crew of the USCSS Seterhina. It is a science ship, and it is doing science shit. So the crew has to be a kind of certain amount scientist for that to be kind of plausible. And the people who elected to play scientists for this game were Kimmy and Brent. So they are going to be building scientist characters. It would have been funny to force the actual real life scientist to play a scientist, but she wanted to play a medic, so folks said that's fine.
Technically, doctors are scientists too. They're just very specific scientists.
You are being a little too smart off the bat. I cannot rationalize that two words might mean the same thing right now, and I just need you to stop racking my brain with that kind of lore, okay?
That wrecked your point. Okay.
We haven't even gotten into the game yet. I haven't read the rule book, okay? I didn't know medics could be scientists too.
Well, I'm not talking about the rule book. I'm just saying, like in real fucking life, doctors are scientists.
What does real life have to do with this game?
Everything.
We're playing as
Art imitates life, John.
Fair. So John will be playing a android, Wayland Yutani special issue android. Sorry, no, not true. He will be playing a security operative, the person who makes sure that the crew is safe and all security concerns for the crew are taken into account. And finally, Michael will be playing the officer of the ship. So this will be the person who's primarily responsible for the command of the craft. Now, with that said, there are other individuals who are present with you on the ship, and those individuals will basically be determined as we roll through your character concepts and discuss like what it is that you do and how you operate. So one main character that's mentioned in the situation, which I'll be reading here in a moment, is Dr. Lark. And I hope that that ends up being as confusing as I imagine it is expected to be if you have a person who goes by Lark in your game. I'd say about 2 months ago, no, about a month ago, a little over a month ago, I sent out a blurb regarding a bit about the lead up here. The situation or the answer to "What's the story, Mother?" was posted on 4.4 for the crew. You're an international science team, handpicked by Wayland Yutani. The aliens are already attacking. Handpicked by Wayland Yutani to investigate a new form of life, that bird. It's a survey, sample, and essay job, but one where you were offered a book deals, benefits, university tenure, and lots of money to accept. You were hastily contracted and transported past the outer rim aboard an understaffed plasma trawler called Sedarhina. After a 3-month cryo sleep trip, you will have arrived at your destination. The viewport shields in the galley slide open. A swirling whirlpool of pitch black greets you, set against a starry backdrop. The ravenous mass gulps torrents of plasma from 2 unraveling orange globes that were once dwarf stars. This is 26 Draconis, a restricted system that's home to the Abyssine black hole. The powerful singularity is consuming both the planets in its path and the system's 2 remaining stars. Whatever life they found is out there in all that. You're headed for Erebos, an orbiting Wayland Yutani plasma trawling platform and recharge station. You assemble on the observation deck for hot coffee, the only good thing on the ship, and a breathtaking view. The ship's Bishop-type android, Gray, quietly places an activated modular computing device on the deck. From the company, I'm told, he'll whisper. The module sputters to life, projecting a holographic antique desk before the viewport. A familiar-looking gentleman peers out from behind the monolithic furniture. He resembles the ship's android, Gray, only a bit older and a bit more tired. The man looks right through you and smiles. You look confused, probably wondering why a synthetic is sitting behind a mahogany desk. Understandable. I'm not a Bishop android. I created them. I'm Michael Bishop, Company Director of Special Operations. I'm recording this August 7th, the year of our Lord, 2185, the morning of your departure from Gateway Station. Mr. Bishop's hologram stands before the viewport, gesturing towards the black hole. Magnificent, isn't it? Living in that swirling plasma soup is a xeno extremophile. They're called the Hasdalen.
Extremophile.
I don't know how to say words. Calling the Hasdalen lights. The lights fit all the criteria for life, and they may even be intelligent. Erebos observed them swarming around a significant meteoric mass in the plasma field, so we gave the green light to anchor the meteor to the station for study. Erebos' science officer, name is Clerk, will brief you more on that when you arrive. Now, a couple of safety concerns. First, Erebos is a WY prison worksite, 99 conscripted convicts. Warden Douglas Stykes and his android officers maintain order. Just don't wander off alone. Second, that black hole puts out electromagnetic energies that can scramble your brain, like staying awake during FTL, but much worse. If you feel depressed or paranoid, talk to Dr. Lark. If you start feeling anything extreme, report to the station's medical officer, which would be Lark. In the communique, it would say Webb. Oh, sorry, the station's medical officer, not you. Webb. He's got meds to help. Now, about these lights, how smart are they? Is there a pattern to their flashes? Are they trying to communicate? What exploitable properties do they exhibit? Bishop shakes his head and laughs. Think of all we can learn from them. I only wish I could be there with you. Good luck. The Sedarhina, as mentioned, is a plasma trawler. You'll be on the ship for an undetermined amount of time. It's not too terribly important to note like that. The characters that you're playing, you will build. If you die, you will take over an NPC that is present in the game. If there are no NPCs present, there is one individual that you can take over at that point, even if everyone else is dead, and that's the cat. The cat is the mascot of the space station, and there's an entire write-up on playing the cat and what happens with the cat in situations. So just understand, there will be a point where you will have at least one player who cannot die, because we will never kill the cat. Okay. So, character creation. Your character sheet should be open, and you should obviously be filling out a couple of things, specifically the role that you'll be playing. Bear with me here. Sorry, the career. And your career is already predetermined. Okay? Next, where do we go? Where's the... I don't know why my stuff's not loading. Campaign play. We are effectively playing space truckers. How to create your character. So you're going to choose your career. Done. You're going to spend points on attributes, which we'll discuss. You're then going to spend points on skills. You're going to choose your career talent. Create a name. Decide on appearance. We'll work on your personal agenda. You'll pick one person amongst the crew who is your buddy. There'll be one person here who is your buddy, and one person who is your rival. You'll then pick your gear, and you'll pick one signature item, and then you'll roll for cash. Frontier colonists. Or sorry, not frontier, space truckers. So for a campaign framework, obviously we're not moving anything, we're not doing the specific thing, but the suggested employees is not necessary, the career suggestions are not needed. Your weekly salary will be $960. So you'll start with $960. And then, let's see, attributes.
Where do dollars go?
I do not know. Somewhere on that sheet, probably.
I put mine in tiny items.
Yeah, let's say there's something that's like money specifically.
Cool.
Wait, how much?
$960. Okay. So
Where are we putting that?
I put it in tiny items because there's not a spot for it specifically.
except that
Oh,
Michael said there was, but
No, there's not. I was saying
Oh.
there wasn't.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Can't be any at least. I'm putting in tiny items as well for now.
So you have 4 attributes that will indicate your character's abilities: strength, agility, wits, empathy. Okay. And for these, I want to say, bear with me here. Starting attributes. You may distribute a total of 14 points across your 4 attributes. So, you may assign no less than 2 and no more than 4 to any attribute. However, you may assign 5 points to an attribute listed as a key attribute for your career. So, we'll look at careers as well. And,
is there a book you gave out?
hold on. Is the compendium not working?
Where is...
If not, hold on, let me check.
A core rulebook?
Yeah, is that showing in there?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you
This
type...
was a bad brew. You do not have access to any content for Alien the role-playing game.
Okay, hold on. Game settings.
Also, my character sheet does not have places for me to put things, apparently.
Heart of
You have to
Darkness
click
is...
on character.
Heart of Darkness
Yeah, it's good.
is showing as sharing for this game.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm telling you, you're wrong.
So we're doing your character. Okay.
What I would suggest is if you go into the compendium and you
Here's the word.
type the word core concepts and you type your
Oh.
character as well. These are two good things to have open. And then the next thing you're going to want to have open, and I apologize, I got to use the restroom, so I'm going to have you guys read by yourselves. But
Okay.
career is the other one that you want to have open, and that's careers, core concepts career, and that should show you some information on. Oh no, sorry, careers on the front here is the one I think you want. Space Truckers will have the list of stuff. Again, I'm not finding it. I do really need to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Can't believe you abandoned us.
So yeah, I went into the journal. I clicked on my name. I don't see places to add
Yeah,
stuff.
mine had that too. It looks like it has character type, character, whisper to GM, never, nerves of steel, and then like something
Yeah.
you can click on. If you go right above character type, you'll see a little cog, and then it says character. If you click on character, then it should bring that sheet up to you.
Ah, thank you so much. Unfortunately, I cannot use D&D Beyond for this character sheet. Alright, and that was 960 for money?
Mhm.
Okay.
What?
Great, let's read things.
I'm not going to be an android.
I don't believe you.
John?
The more you say it, the less I'll believe that.
I think someone believed me back there.
Yeah, I think he's yelling because he wants my food. And he's in a completely different part of the house and won't walk his ass over here.
Yeah. Okay, so I get concepts, but like what? Space Truckers. Sure, but what? What do we?
Let's see here.
Were we supposed to
Okay,
name ourselves?
I think so,
No.
but if you're looking for what your role specifically does, you have to like what your main skill is. I had to find it. So for scientist, it's wits. I had to go down and scroll down for it here.
Like you look, like you looked in the compendium for like scientists.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
I've
so
got
then
officer
security.
pulled up.
6. Security doesn't pull up anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find now.
So my name's Jimmy Joe Hoffman.
I dig it.
Jimmy Joe Hoffman. At your service, tips helmet. He's from Texas.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't see it. I'm gonna open the core rule book. See if that might be.
Wait, what are you playing, John?
Security.
I don't see security. I see
Yeah, I couldn't
kid,
find.
company agent, colonial marine, colonial
It might be
marshal.
It might be Colonial Marine.
That's what I'm thinking.
But we'll wait
If
till.
it should be strength, but
That's what I'm
if John gets
thinking.
back, we can double check with him. Kimmy, mine and yours are scientists, so ours would be wits as our main stat.
Got it, got it. I just pulled that up. Thank you for telling me how you found it.
I think that's. I do have medic pulled up if you need it, Lark. If not, I will leave it closed. And then I have officer pulled up from Michael if he needs it.
Oh, I'm back.
I have it
It
pulled
was
up.
nothing big.
But thank you.
Hell,
If you scroll down, Michael,
I
to,
might be roughneck.
it might be real
So
quick.
how-
Yours should
Nope,
be
it's not.
0210 officer, and that'll tell you what your main stat is.
0
and
2.
what
Oh yeah, I
skills you
have
can
that.
have.
I
Okay,
got that.
It's
perfect.
got to be
We're
Colonial
just doing
Marine.
the skills.
Yeah.
It was how many points? 14.
Yeah, 14, no lower than 2, no more
no
than
more than-
4.
5 in your specialized ones.
Yeah.
Or key skills.
I have to have a crew cut
Okay.
and an arm tattoo and a cocky grin and a scar. No, it's all.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'm trying to think of a futuristic R name.
Robert.
Riddick.
I do like Reddick. I watched that movie the other day as like a rewatch. It was pretty good.
That's
So-
like the futuristic R name.
Fair, yeah.
Sorry about that, folks.
Robert.
You're good.
I had to make put it.
Aw.
So am I technically a Colonial Marine?
No, but also yes.
Okay, I can find security.
Huh?
Okay, so that's what I'm going off is Colonial Marine.
We couldn't find security
Yeah,
as
security
a
officer is not
role.
a role thing for
Hold
us.
on.
At least not the one that we can find.
My name is also Jimmy Joe Hoff.
Jimmy Crack Corn.
Just be sure to make sure we're taking this game seriously.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right.
He's just you know.
Cool,
got
cool,
a name.
cool.
He's just a guy.
So yeah, it does look like Colonial Marine would be fine for
Okay,
the
cool.
purposes of this. And then scientists and medics should be careers that are available, right?
Yeah, we have those pulled up.
Yep.
And then
Yeah, I got it
officer was
pulled up.
also there as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I got
Just
that.
security operative was the weird one out.
I also get
Interesting.
D6 times 100 in cash.
So we're replacing that with your just starting weekly rate so that it's just sprinkler coded.
Which is better than D6 times 100 for you.
Correct.
Maybe.
So the 14
960.
points
It is,
covers our
it is,
attributes and
it is.
skills both, right?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you over John being bad at math. What did you say, Brent?
14 points covers our attributes and skills, right? Like it goes over everything in that
No.
little area.
It will only cover the internal. That four.
Oh.
Yep, but you can only put 5s in your. You can only put 5s in the stats that are related to your career, which should be notated in your career. So, for example, scientist, since that one is the more prominent, key attribute wits. So you can have a 5 in wits, and then wait, that math isn't checking out. So I guess 3, 3, 3 would be the other ones, or you could do like 2, 4, 3, or what have you. Does that make sense? Is that math checking out? Am I bad at math? I've been bad at math before.
14. Yeah, the 3s and the others matches with a 5 in wits. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, that'd be 3 in the others.
Okay, and then again, it'll say like the key skills that are related to there. We haven't gotten to skills yet, just so kind of focus up on attributes, right? And yeah, it can be 5, 3, 3, or you could have like 5, 4, 3, 2, or you could go 5, 4, 4, and I think 2 is the lowest you can have. So whatever the math is there.
So this thing I say that one more time. I'm sorry.
You can have 14 points in those 4 core center ones. Okay.
All right.
And then you can have 2 as a minimum, 4 as a maximum, but you can have a 5 in whatever your career states is the important stat for your role or your career.
If
Hate to do this, but can you say the numbers again?
14, minimum 2,
Yep.
maximum 4, Maximum 5 for your career skill
Okay.
or career attribute.
I think I got mine.
I was actually writing that down.
And then once you are done assigning that, in cinematic play, the characters are given a bit of grace in comparison to normal characters. 5 is still the maximum. Once you have your attributes assigned, per the rules of campaign play, choose one attribute of your choice and add 1. It cannot be the 5 if you have a 5. So you can do anything besides, like if you have a 4, you can make it a 5, but you cannot make the 5 a 6.
Okay.
Then we have skills on the docket. Now, for the career roles that we were looking at, again, looking at scientists because it's the most prominent example we have here. If you look at 0213 scientist, which is the handout inside of, and I guess I should just be, hold on. There we go. We're just going to do it this way because this is easier for the people watching. So we're going to be showing you a bit more behind the screens here, just for my recording purposes as well, so I have it for later. But this is the scientist wrap-up here, and you can see that the key attribute is wits, and the key skills are observation, survival, comtech, right? So when we go to skills, and we look up 0300 skills, it will tell us about the skills. So this will not be where we want to kind of have the, this is not how you determine what your skills are. When you go to core concepts, starting skill levels will be notated. When you create your player character for campaign play, you'll distribute a total of 10 points amongst your skills. You can assign up to 3 points to each of the skills listed for your career. You can only assign a single point to a skill that is not a part of your career skills listing. So again, for example, for scientist, their career skills were observation, survival, and comtech. Okay? And so you can assign 3 points of your 10 to each one of those and then just have 1 extra point. Or you can kind of like finagle it, 1, 2, or 3 on those and then put a bunch of 1s in everything else. It's your call. But if it's not a part of your career skill listing, it can only go to a 1. Make sense?
Yes.
And how was everybody doing with attributes? Did everybody get there okay?
Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. And then, obviously, a slight twist on everything. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After you're done with that, you can then raise any skills of your choice by 1. The maximum for your skills is still 3, but you can raise any skills across the board by 1. 2 skills of your choice can be raised by 1. And you can take a 0 to a 1, so you can kind of like create more of like a pool of capability. Or if you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to be good at this one thing, but I'd like to, kind of from flavor be good at this one thing, you can go ahead and add to that instead.
I'm sorry. Did you say that included the ones that are already at 3?
So again, can't go above 3. So what you want to do is assign the first 10, and then once the 10 are assigned, just a free 2 points that ignore the rules, except for the rule of max cap being 3. So you can put where a skill is normally capped at 1 outside of your suite, you can raise that to a 2. Does that make sense?
So it'll ultimately be 12 skill points.
12
basically.
total points for skills, yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's just that there'll be 2 kind of skills that are floaters that kind of can go wherever.
Yeah.
And those 2 extra points can be used for the same skill. Like I can bump it up 2
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, you could take a 1 to a 3 with those 2. Absolutely. So you could potentially, at the end of it, have 3 3s and 1 1. Or sorry, you could have 4 3s. Just that's it. So you're really good at these 4 things, but everything else you're shit. And a good way to look at this too is you're building these characters, and there may be a situation where you're like, oh man, these points were wasted, like during the actual play, and then your character will die horribly, so you'll know better on the next build, like what not to do. Or, if you thought it was funny to do that narratively, do it again. And then the next step, everybody done with the skills?
I think so.
Okay. The next one will be your starting talent. Okay. In your career, it should say career attributes, career skills, and then right below that it'll say career talents. And there will basically be 3 words that are just kind of there, right? So in the case of scientists, for example, again, maintaining that as our primary, it says that the career talents that you can select are analysis, breakthrough, and inquisitive. So, if you're a scientist, you'll just go ahead and search those words. You maybe even, no, unfortunately that's not the case, but if it doesn't bring up that specifically, under talents, it should say talents analysis, and then you should be able to open it up. And then read it and like determine if it's something that you want to do. Great. And if you need any kind of help or instruction on talents, let me know. And I'll pull this and show players here. Everybody see that okay?
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and look at, again, scientist. Analysis, breakthrough, inquisitive. Kimmy and Brent, you can both take the same one. Absolutely not an issue. But again, if you're kind of wanting to work in kind of a synergistic manner, it might be the case that doubling up on the same thing might be shoe stepping. So I just want to kind of make sure if you two want to like discuss what you're thinking, that'd be great. And then that also might trickle down into the non-scientists. If there are skills that, or talents that are similar, they may not want to choose those ones. What are your thoughts, Brent?
At the moment, I like inquisitive and I like breakthrough.
Oh, great, because I like analysis and I like inquisitive. So I'll take analysis.
Okay. So you're more the kind of studier. And you were thinking, Brent, of, again, inquisitive kind of goes in that same vein, but is a little different. And then breakthrough is kind of a once per game session kind of like bang kind of situation.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think because it's any role based on wits, I think Inquisitive would be the best.
Okay, then lock it in. So, folks that are not scientists, from an understanding perspective, if you didn't read, analysis allows Kimmy's character to gain insight regarding strange and alien artifacts or creatures that they will encounter and get a chance to study for at least a turn. For every, I think it's every success they roll, they'll get to ask one question of me regarding whatever they're analyzing, and I have to answer truthfully. It also reduces the character's stress level, and the stress level of other PCs within short ranges of them. So failed rolls, unfortunately, on this will cause stress. So if you try to analyze something and you suck at it, then it'll cause problems for the party.
I have a question about one of mine.
Sure.
So with Field Commander, it says that you can use command skill to give orders in combat. What exactly does that mean? Like, what is giving orders? Because we didn't really do any of that in.
Sure. So command normally lets you tell somebody what to do, and we kind of saw this put into action when Lark basically told Brent's character to like kind of fight against the alien, the neomorph that was down there in the engine room. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
And I believe they too had Field Commander. So what it allowed her character to do was effectively, instead of her taking an action, she was able to kind of make that command as a fact action instead of her action. And so instead of like using her whole action to give Brent's character an action, she was using a fast action to give them an action, and she could basically do that like to two different characters if she wanted to, because Field Commander also lets you do it as an action as well. So when you command and you succeed, what you're doing is you're telling that person to do this now, and so they will do it. And in a combat situation, that means they will do it on your turn.
Oh, okay, that was where I was getting at. Is like mechanically.
If you played 4th edition D&D, or if you're familiar with the Battle Master from 5th edition, basically you're giving up your action to grant them a function.
But then I could do it as a fast action.
You could do it twice. You could do your own thing and then also like make them do something, or you could double up and like say security operative and medic do these two different separate things, like you're like micromanaging the team. Field Commander means that you are like thinking on the fly in the midst of combat and doing shit quick, whereas the other two, go ahead.
But it's just that I can still do, like, because it's a fast action, I could then still do a full slow action myself if I wanted to.
Which could be command as well.
But it could be double command, but it doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be. It could be like you're working on something and then like you yell over your shoulder, "Get the fucking work!" and then whatever John's character's name, Jimmy or whatever, Joe Bob, fucking shoots a guy.
Would that cause, if it's in combat like that, well, it has to be in combat.
Yeah, you got to roll.
Does that change their turn order, or do they still get their full turn as well?
Yeah, they're not. Awesome. Yeah, it's them doing a thing on your turn.
Okay, cool. That was it. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm probably picking that.
Cool.
I like it.
And then if you're also using command to give orders in combat to people who may not be kind of like on board with you, then it's
I was muted.
No worries. What were you saying?
What's short range technically?
So short range means that you're effectively in the same room. So we played in this, and I'll go ahead and bring us back to that map real quick. All right, I'll try to. Hold on.
I gotta make a lot.
So short range would be like you're in the same like room, right? Whereas long range would be like down the hall from you, So let's say you were an A1, right? And you were fighting an alien for some reason. The people outside of that room, like kind of just outside the door, if the door were open, they would not be in short range of you. But if they were cowering
Okay.
and hiding in that room and trying to get out the door, they would be in short range of you.
Got it.
And then long range would be how far we could justifiably, like, say you could see. Like, if it's like a really long hallway, like the A1 through to E1, like, line, and if none of the doors were closed, like, you could technically see down the hallway, right? It'd be shadows and shit at the end, but yeah, it's still long range.
I'm between overkill and banter.
Okay. We love the bands.
Banter was pretty good.
It is.
But just so you all are aware, I picked Inquisitive, which means I can I can push any skill that's based on wits twice instead of once. So I probably will be going clinically stressed
Right.
if I roll bad.
Well, that's great because I was thinking about using
Sounds
the
like meta.
calming presence talent, because as much as field surgeon seems to be like pretty cool because healing and all that nice stuff, I can still heal. I just wouldn't get the +2. If I go calming presence, every turn I can reduce someone's stress by 1. So
Yeah, banter is your stress level, and the stress level of everyone in short range of you drops 2 steps instead of 1 for every turn spent in a safe place.
Yep.
Oh, so Brent, maybe Lark should be your buddy. Because she
Yeah.
evens you out. She calms you down.
Now, I will
I was
warn
thinking
you.
about going like.
Oh, go ahead, Lark. Sorry, finish your sentence, and I'll warn John.
I was thinking about going more of like criminal psychologist kind of medic.
Okay. Now my warning for John. So, John, as mentioned in the kind of beginning caveat, and kind of mentioned by Mr. Bishop in the kind of recording that you've seen, this objective at the Erebos location is right near a black hole. And so it's been mentioned that the person who wrote this specific module and the other modules as well, this is the last one that they wrote, but a lot of the inspiration came from Alien 3, for sure. But also a bit of inspiration came from Event Horizon. So if you understand what that means, safe places may or may not be something that are a commonality.
So maybe I should go between overkill and pass the limit.
It's your call. I'm just saying, with the kind of like understanding that we've mentioned, safe areas are going to be something you're going to dedicatedly search to get any use out of that talent.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm not saying it's not going to get any use. I'm just saying of that
Right,
and
but-
what I'm reading for the other two, it's probably the one that's going to be harder. You're going to be. It's going to be you going, fuck you, why aren't any of these places safe? And I'm like, I just explained to you that you're seeing all of your friends shove hooks in their faces for no reason. Like, why do you think it's not safe?
And that's why they're gonna send a therapist.
Yeah, that's why you get an added therapist into the crew. And also, hold on, archive here.
I was thinking like, cause all the weird brain stuff going on with this area, it would probably make sense that they wanted to send somebody to kind of manage that.
Archive here. Archive here. 4, 5. So, what I'll say here is that your crew has 3 other individuals that one of them has been mentioned. So there's Dr. Lark, and Dr. Lark is one of the 3 in the pre-generated characters Heart of Darkness listing, and they'll basically be operating just as such. They're a very nice, smile, reassuring, very measured voice, very sure. They're not a real doctor. They're a former hostage negotiation android running a psychology doctorate subroutine. It's no secret that Dr. Lark is an artificial person. Officially, they are here to make sure the humans present keep their cool. Unofficially, you're also aware that they are here to kind of toe the company line and make sure you're doing likewise, as is the case with all synthetics. They're the only team member who is immune to the psychological effects caused by the proximity to the wormhole. And they do understand human emotions, they're just not really feeling them. Yeah.
Don't empathize.
Then there is Sezja Drabakowski, who is an astrophysicist, also technically a scientist. They're a bit of a prodigy. They kind of stand out amongst the scientists at present. Lots of honorifics that were kind of given to them in their early life, and yeah, I'm not going to go into that because that shit sounds boring as fuck. But it's basically just like a bunch of like Ministry of Space sciences and shit, garbage. Who cares? And then there's one other scientist who is a part of your crew, and that's Hector Navarre. And Hector is a biochemical engineer whose expertise involves identifying and altering the chemical processes of other living things, or of all living things. So obviously the reason why they are here is kind of well understood. Yeah, they are also technically a part of your crew, but they're more or less technically a part of the Erebos crew, and they're returning with you to that location. And they're the oldest person in the crew. They're 74 years old.
That first doctor.
Yeah.
How do you spell his name?
Her name Sezja, Sezja.
Okay.
And
I'm
she's
gonna do overkill.
okay. She's 36, but she's still technically a young scientist. And then Dr. Lark's age doesn't matter. She robot.
Oh
What?
shit, overkill. This is tough.
What's wrong with overkill?
It makes everybody else panic.
Yeah. Well,
That's
then
why I'm a
fuck.
psychiatrist.
Then yeah, fucking Lark cleans up your mess.
All right, cool.
The real Lark, not the
It literally
doctor one.
says, right. I'll just put it in chat.
So you said that these are the only 3 other people on the ship?
So it's you 5 plus these 3 that are the crew of the Setarina. Yeah.
What about that science officer, clerk, and the warden?
They're on the space station Erebos where you're headed.
Oh, okay. So this is on the ship. Okay, got it.
These are the people you're bringing with you. So these are the people you will know and will
Okay.
have to be introduced to.
Got it.
Dr. Lark effectively functions like your David, if you're familiar with that terminology. She's on the ship. She's known to be a synthetic. You also have Gray, who was mentioned in the lead up, who is not listed in my crew listing, but he is also a synthetic, and he's kind of a bit more, Bishop-like from the movie Aliens.
Gray, Gray.
Greye, I think it was. Obviously, they're pretentious because they're Weyland-Yutani.
Of course. Excuse me.
No worries. Everybody got their talent selected?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I believe the next bit was personal agenda. Let me double check. Character creation. So real quick, John, regarding that thing, can you just type to me
Yeah.
about that thing in the side chat, so I know about it?
About how they're an android.
The agenda.
The thing we were talking about, yeah. It's a cool concept. I think I like it, but at the same time, there are already, yeah, yeah. Yep. Hard to say words when I don't know what I'm saying. Career talent, choose your name. That was the next one. And then also decide upon your appearance. Kind of give us an idea of what you look like. I'll see if I can't find some kind of non-AI, kind of alien art-looking characters. I could probably, I don't know. Depending on what you describe, depending on what we're talking about, I could do some pretty simple drawings pretty quickly, I think. Just like, because the stuff that they have isn't, terribly like super crazy detailed. It's just a headshot. So, but yeah, okay. I love you, John. Name, appearance. And then for the appearances, go ahead and give me kind of just like a shorthand description in a DM of your character. And if you have any like concept or any drawings of like actors or something that you think would kind of like connect with what you're thinking you look like, that'll be helpful. And then the next beat is personal agenda, which this is for me the hardest part because it is a bit of a clusterfuck on my part. So, each character has a personal agenda for each of the 3 acts of the scenario. More so than in previous Alien RPG scenarios, adventures, conflicting agendas play a major role in this setup. So at the end of each act, we collect agenda cards, and there's a card pool of them, and then we will play those out. I am currently trying to find that deck because I hit it like a dumbass. Because I'm the best at this. I'm so good. I love the rollable tables that are like cuddles attacks. Oh, so good. La 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 la. Heart of Darkness show. Yay. Okay. GM. Does this work? Shuffle. And then pull. Does everybody see that or nobody?
Where I see the deck, but I don't see anything that was pulled.
Okay. Don't
Yeah,
touch the deck.
I'm gonna touch it.
No, it's
I'm a hover on it.
it's fine. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to pull all the cards. And then I need to look at okay. So I have 2 scientist agendas that can be chosen from, which means that we're obviously going to have a situation where one of you is basically going to be regulated to the other option. So I'm going to yield to Kimmy and to Brent. Which one of you 2 would like to be first and actually have a choice? And then who wants to be the one regulated to the other option?
I'll be the one regulated.
Okay, so Kimmy, I'm going to go ahead and drag you over into a private chat, and we're going to have a quick discussion about that, okay?
Okay.
All right, so here we are. Your options, as listed. So the first option is you are actually well aware of the kind of situation at hand, a bit more than the others. So much so that you kind of have a bit more understanding about the biological material that you're actually going in to deal with. And then the other option is, hold on a second here. Sorry, it's a mess over on my side. The other option is, right, 1 second. Gotta maneuver through all these cards here. There's that one. We already talked about that. Close, and then we're looking for, thank you for being patient with me here. Sorry about the blah. There's that. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so the other option is as you are not who you say you are actually a spy. So you're not actually a security, or so you're not actually a scientist. You're kind of faking that you are one for other purpose. So the option is up to you. Obviously, kind of understanding that the other scientist isn't who they say they are. If you don't choose that one, will be explained as you being a scientist and kind of seeing through a bit of them like early on, but not like so much to the point that you think they're a liar, or even understand what they are hiding. Just that they don't seem to be as skilled as you think.
Okay, I think I'm gonna choose the second one because when I was putting my points down, I put 5 in wits and I put 5 in agility because I kind of wanted to. I don't know.
Okay, so you're going to effectively create 2 character names. Okay, the real, whatever the name you go by, is dead. They died in cryosleep. You are Colonel Doctor, whatever your second name is, and you are on deep cover. You're a deep cover agent for the UPP, Ministry of Space Security. That's United Proprietary Planets, I believe. The MSS believes Erebos is running Ironfish, a project repurposing the black hole as a broad spectrum antenna to spy on the UPP. So MSS agent Drabakowski is assigned to secure Ironfish. You're here to see that she does. So there will be an NPC named Drabakowski, and I'll DM you that.
Okay.
Bear with me here. Kimmy, Agent Drabakowski. And you need
So
to make...
can I...
Oh, go ahead.
I can finagle my points a little better to be the secret agent?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
Drabakowski is going to be unaware that you are MSS and shadowing her. So you need to give her room to prove or hang herself. Basically, you need to ensure that she is doing what's right for the UPP and she's not playing ball with the corporation. Okay? And so your goal is find this NPC, see if they're securing Ironfish, this project that's kind of utilized for repurposing the black hole itself as a broad spectrum antenna to spy on the UPP. And if they are basically taking it away from the corporation, then she's doing good. If she's playing ball with the corporation, she needs to go. She's a problem. And you need to do her job for her. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then that's it for you. Obviously, the other one's going to be a little boring for Brent, but he's going to know more about the Draconis strain that we learned about in the game he already played. So it's actually better that way since he already played through it. All right. I'm kicking you out, and I'm going to grab Brent.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Coming in to steal Brent.
Yay.
All right. So she chose one way. You don't get to know anything about what she got to know, but she does have a very slight understanding on yours from the onset. And what that means is she knows you really know a lot about what you're going into compared to her. Like you're the one who's going to know quite a bit. So remember the Patreon game?
Yeah.
A lot about what was discussed in that game is information you already have. You would also know that the prison barcode is real. You worked for a shadow government bioweapons project modifying xenomorphic lifeforms via a genetic accelerant called the 26 Draconis strain. Arrested when the project was exposed, you then murdered your court-appointed psychiatrist. Wayland Yutani got your charges lowered to manslaughter and bought out your prison contract. You never even saw a judge. So you were put into this crew to be sent to a prison planet, not as a prisoner, as a scientist to do what the company wants. You're here to continue the work you did with the Draconis strain. 26 Draconis originated here. This is where it comes from. Is this new life form related, is the question. So again, you know about the 26 Draconis strain. You know it comes from here. This is where it originates from. And you're kind of not sure whether or not it's related to these lights that everyone else is like effectively understanding that they're being told is the real reason, quote unquote, real reason you're here. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you type that to me so I can put it in my personal agenda?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or-
I'll send you a picture of the card in a bit.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. And do. All right. So on the next docket, I'm going to need a bit here. So let's see. I've already gone over Brent and Kimmy. Now, for those two, I'll be sending them information soon. Take. Next up, I want to deal with the officer, I think. There will be some options for the officer at present, but not a bunch. It's kind of a simple scope, and we'll discuss it as we kind of get into it. Now, the only thing that I'm kind of concerned about is actually I'm not concerned about because you didn't. We'll discuss in a moment. Any questions so far for me before I take Michael into the private side and talk to him?
No,
No,
Okay.
not right now.
I think we're all just looking for like concepts.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll work through those and kind of chat, and hopefully that'll kind of guide your direction here. Okay, here we go. So for your character, you just sent me a blurb on the back line. I did get that. You got a pretty good look. It sounds like you are kind of stressed a bit, and not someone who's overly focused on Flash, but someone who's kind of focused on the task. Is that fair to say?
Exactly. I'm trying to come from a perspective of like I've kind of seen combat in the past, and I take things very seriously at this point. And
You're a good pilot. You're a good captain of a craft. And I'd say that's due in fact to the fact that it's in your blood. The lead I got for you is a kind of connection to the plot I want to do with you. I don't know if you watched the Patreon game or not. It's best that you don't. It makes it more fun, and it'll make it more interesting for people who did
Yes.
when it comes up. But there was a ship on that discussion known as the Cronus, and you are a very good officer, but the reason why you have come to be on this ship is personal. Your great aunt Allie was chief technician on the science vessel known as the Cronus, not the Saturn. The Saturn is what you're telling everybody your great aunt Allie was a part of to kind of keep people like off the radar. But you've tracked their ship's final course to 26 Draconis. It was picked up by the Earth Erebos trawling run, And each trip, you've quietly searched for clues as you kind of maneuvered around this space to get more information what happened to your great aunt Ollie 74 years ago. It's very, for you, it's very indicative of the corporation, how they're willing to keep information about people who work hard for the company, presumably, just based on everything they tell you, but not give you and your family any information as to what happened to her. So you want to know, what is Erebos' secret? What is Erebos hiding? And you're sure that the Erebos station is hiding something. Your goal in Act 1 is to get to Erebos' mother, the mission recorder, which should have connection to Cronus, or Cronus' mother directly if it's available, and find out what happened with the Cronus 74 years ago.
Okay.
Does that sound good? And again, you can narratively change it. It could be like instead of great aunt, it could be somebody else. It's absolutely fine. It just said somebody connected to you who is quite a bit older than you was on this ship, the Cronus, 74 years ago.
Could it be an uncle, just an uncle instead of an aunt?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I actually was thinking of a signature item, because it said you can make one up yourself, and I had an idea for one of a, like, kind of a really nice combat knife that's been handed down through my family, essentially.
Yeah, we'll call it Great
To
Uncle
become
Al.
officers. Oh, okay.
Al
That'd
was
be a
the
cool
name.
way to do that.
And so, yeah, you've been trying to find out, like, what happened with this great uncle. Because, again, for you in your very early, because you're not 74, you're definitely not that old, but stories about this this person who worked for the corporation and was very diligent served as kind of inspiration for you kind of getting into this business in the first place, but have now served as more kind of a red flag, because they aren't really telling you a lot about what happened to him, and you're like, if he's so good for the company, why don't they just tell us what happened to him? I need to know. Sound good?
Yes, sorry, I was
Okay.
talking to Allison for a second, because she
No
always
worries.
messes things up on the chat.
No worries. Absolutely, totally fine.
She didn't know what we were doing now.
What?
She didn't know what we were talking about just now, and she just posted in the Twitch chat.
Oh, it's fine. She can post it in the Twitch chat. I told them not to watch it.
Yeah, I just...
But again, I do expect people to go back and watch it, especially John. He's a devious lot.
I definitely will not be, because I
It's-
want it to be all surprise.
Totally fine. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and slip you back in there. Here we go. All right, Captain's got a backstory. Who I want to do next? The medic is probably more important for me, I would think, than the security operative, but I feel bad making John go last and everything. So I am going to do John.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to do John first. I can get it out of the way and don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to grab John, bring him over. Here we go. Okay. All right. So I discussed with Michael when I kind of popped in that I kind of have like a main agenda for each role, but I do want to make sure, like, he sent me a little blurb about what he wanted to kind of do on his end. And I just want to make sure that you, on your side, I just saw Brent's, he sent me a picture of Goku in a scientist coat as the concept art for his guy.
Yeah, we were joking about that.
Love that. That's wonderful. But for you, you are the security operative who I'm trying to pull the cards for.
What about that last one I just sent you?
No. Wrong game. For those at home, he sent me a picture of Adam Smasher, which I do think would be funny if you end up like going kind of rogue, so to speak. Take.
Yeah, what about this though?
Hold on. The other ones are fine so far. That's not bad at all. We can work with that. Let's see. Where is the Security Act 1? Take card. Oh, God damn it. Sorry, this is a headache.
No, you're fine.
Take.
Are you showing me shit?
No. Okay, here we go. So, according to this, this information is kind of connected and has connective tissue with information that is acquired through understanding the lore of Alien. Have you seen Alien 3?
I haven't.
Okay. In Alien 3, there's a guy who is very much affected by the events of that film, and he writes a book in story called Space Beast about the xenomorph. It is referred to as the dragon. So, in the concept for the security operative here, you read Space Beast for laughs. But something about it for you rings true. You dove deeper, reading cult evangelist James Rudy's banned journals as well. They said all the right things to fill the void in your life. You're a believer. The dragon waits eager to enact the dark god's judgment on us all. Protecting the science team from bodily harm is your priority, but spreading the word will also protect their souls. You are a believer in the cult of the dragon. The xenomorph for you is very much a real thing.
Okay.
If you want to lean into that, that's up to you.
So, I also thought about my personal item,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it would be a. I wasn't sure how green you wanted the character to be.
Not at all.
Catch my drift.
Not
I
at
was
all.
thinking about having a Stetson, but it's like a little bit of like acid burnt around the rim.
Oh yeah, so I don't know if you've ever like encountered a xenomorph.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
green.
yeah. Green in the Colonial Marines means you fought other things. Like there are other aliens that get shot up by them. It's not just xenomorphs.
Okay.
Yeah. The world is not just the alien movies.
Okay.
So no, 100%. It's absolutely fine if you fought either that or kind of like rebel forces. Basically, like a lot of times colonies will kind of get like taken over by people who are not corporate focused, and so they have to send the Colonial Marines in to kill them all.
Oh no, I figured like other humans, yeah.
Sure, and it's probably the case that you've encountered like other alien creatures before.
Maybe like a bite through the side and then a gunshot through the top.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely. So your hat is basically going to be your kind of characteristic, like cool thing.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that absolutely works for me. And so you're kind of like, an avid, like, learner and reader, and like you've seen some kind of crazy shit. So like the story that was kind of outlined in Space Beast, and I'll get you a link for
Please
the
do.
Alien Wiki on that, so you kind of have an idea. And this will be the quickest link I've ever sent, I think. Yeah, cool. So Space Beast is a book that regards Fiorina Fury 161. And if you get a chance, I would say just go ahead and watch Alien 3. It's not the best Alien. It really isn't. And a lot of people
I probably will.
People either like it or they don't. But basically,
Go ahead.
I'm
going to put it in my personal agenda at the bottom, just so I remember.
Okay. But yeah, it'll basically outline the kind of details that you'll be seeing. And the character you're looking for in it is Robert Morris, who they all kind of look the same in that film because they're all like white dudes with shaved heads, or they're not that. Right. But yeah,
Marines, yeah,
he is very much a person who is very quickly kind of becomes someone you kind of will focus in on, especially towards the end.
Okay.
So yeah, that will definitely give you kind of a concept of what you know about the xenomorph from like a literature perspective. Again, it wasn't a one for one like video or anything like that, but yeah, I think that's a sound starting point, and temporally it kind of fits with where we're going. That work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a cultist security
Well,
officer.
you're a rugged veteran. I would say that you kind of believe in the dragon and believe like what's been kind of talked about by what was I saying here? Hold on. What was the other person's
The
name?
dragon refers to the xenomorph.
James Ruetti. Yeah, the dragon does refer to. Bear with me here. James Ruetti. I can't type
I
good.
changed my name. It's Jimbo Huff.
The other person you'll focus on is James Ruetti, whose character art was kind of looked at by, or was kind of conceptually defined as a nod to Geiger, H.R. Giger, and that's what you would know about
Okay.
him. So there's kind of like an understanding that these the children of two divines, this kind of extremist xenomorph cult is kind of present. So you kind of see the creature as twofold. It's like a challenge, but at the same time, it's like this great, grander than you thing that exists. And like just knowing that it exists and is out there, it's I mean, it's like you have a quest, you have a goal, you have like a geas upon you. Like this is what you need to do. That make sense?
You kill one of these.
To kill it, or to like bring about its like control of the universe, whatever. It just read into James Ruetti, the Children of the Two Divines,
Okay.
and kind of a little bit. You have a little bit more homework than others.
Fine.
If I had done this, if this was something that we did with like Lark, it probably would have been a little bit more intuitive for her. But
Easy. Yeah.
this will give you more kind of like a grounding as to like functionally
I'll watch-
kind
I'll
of.
watch a couple video essays, and I'm sure it'll be.
Yeah, and Alien 3 would be a good one to just pick up. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and swap you out and take Lark in. Here we go.
Yeah. Guys, guess
Alright.
what? I'm an android.
I knew it.
That's why it took so long. We were
I
reworking
figured.
his character. What's funny is they're not going to believe us if we say that's not the case. And so even if it were true or weren't true, it's always true. It's like, yeah. Lark, here we go.
He just
Schrodinger's
bleeds
android.
white.
Yes, 50-50.
Yeah, he's definitely an android, though. JK. Okay, so for us, we kind of have a bit of a kind of divide here, since your character is kind of leaning into being calming, but also a doctor. That is obviously kind of present there. We've already discussed Dr. Lark and their kind of narrative.
Yeah.
However, they are also kind of present. Bear with me here. I just need to find...
What type of doctor is Dr. Lark?
Not really a doctor. It's more or less just an android that's been programmed with like psychology bullshit. And it kind of operates in like a capacity where it's trying to aid people in a mental capacity. So behavioral health, I guess, would be the simple answer.
So So what I was thinking about for my character is a neuropsychologist,
Okay.
which is a neurologist, so a brain doctor, MD. But they specifically study the links between brain chemistry and brain physicality and the behavior of a person.
Okay. Now,
So I would be like highly specialized in that if I did that.
I would say, too, that because of the company's kind of generalist perspective on roles, due to the fact that you're on a ship, like hyper specification is not typically seen as like beneficial to a ship crew, unless it's like a very large ship crew or like a station or something like that. It's probably the case that you've also served as a medical doctor, right?
Oh yeah, I would be a surgeon. Either way.
I would say that
Like,
the arc I have for you, we can go one of two routes. The more interesting one for me is you are starting off from a place of not great. You've made the company look bad in some way, shape, or form, and they are basically, as far as you understand, hostile towards you. And you think that this mission is just to get rid of you. Until now, they've had you buried behind a desk to keep you out of their way. If there's any accidents here on this mission, they're just going to pin this on you, as well as another instance, which I'll mention here if we go with this one. They'll cancel your contract. They'll get rid of your stocks, your pension, whatever loved ones you have back home. Fuck them. They're going to leave you. And no, you don't want that to happen. So your goal in this mission is to basically rise to the occasion. No one dies under your watch. This is where everybody comes home. There's going to be no problems. There's no way they could put you on the back foot. Does that sound like a good starting personal agenda for you, or do you want to try something different?
Well, you said that there was a couple. Let's hear the other one, and we'll see. But that does sound pretty cool.
Sure. So the second one is a little bit more cut and dry. You are here, and you're aware that Lark's presence is kind of company focused, but yours is too. And you basically will effectively act as like compatriot to the artificial. Most folks are not going to trust an artificial company known agent, and since you aren't regulated to that perspective, most folks will see you as kind of a friendly individual. And so your attempt here is to manipulate everyone who's present, and make sure that everyone on the station and everyone in your crew are going to think of you as a friend and for purpose. You need to learn everything that you can about the situation so that you can control them, and look for every evidence that someone is acting against the company policy. You effectively will treat them as things that need to be dealt with, and you are aware that Dr. Lark, is not under the effects of a behavior chip. They are fully functional to act in any way they feel necessary for the purposes of the company. And you will act as their second in that.
I think I'll go with the first one.
Okay.
I like that it kind of puts me at odds with the company.
Yeah. And so what I'll say is the information I've given you regarding Dr. Lark is stuff you've been
I
able
don't
to...
know that.
It's stuff that you've been able to kind of pick up on. The lack of trust between the crew and Dr. Lark, which will come up relatively quickly if they're not company focused, will be something that you can kind of understand. And you'd also notice that they kind of act outside of what is normal for synthetics. Like, you're pretty certain that they are not acting in a way that would be compliant with a correct usage behavior chip. So that's knowledge you could have.
There might be something a little bit illegal there.
Well, no, not so much illegal. It's Wayland Yutani. It's probably the case that the behavioral chip has been modified or has been augmented intentionally. Without getting into the chip, you wouldn't know for certain. I guess the best way to describe it is like, well, you've seen Romulus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like instead of going kind of like stuttering and weird by the behavioral chip being modified very slightly, this Dr. Lark has modified the chip so that they don't have to follow kind of normal regulations regarding androids harming people.
Okay, you went really silent for a few seconds.
Oh, am I okay now?
Yeah, you are.
Hold on.
So you said instead of going all skittish and, well, not skittish, but stuttery and stuff like that, you said what?
So I said, you would know that it's the case just based on the way that they're acting, that their behavioral chip is not correct. What that means is it could mean something as limited as just like, these weird tics or these weird kind of mannerisms, but it could mean something as grievous as like the android is not under the rules of typical synthetics in that it can function against people in a physical and violent manner.
Okay.
So again, not to be trusted, and that's something you'd pick up on kind of early on in the mission. And I'll make sure that I'm kind of leaning into that when people who are going against the corporation are kind of. This would be something that you kind of pick up as that's happening, right? In Act 1.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions regarding that?
Are you going to copy and paste that into the personal agenda?
Yes, I am. And
Okay.
the note that I stated, NN3553, that is another instance, and I'm looking up what happened with NN5533 right now. Do be bam 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 bam. How? I will get you details on what happened with NN. Hold on, NN5533. Come on, nothing. I got nothing right now. I will get you more information and details. Basically, they are trying to pin the accident that you were a part of, whatever made the company look bad prior to this engagement, which has to do with NN3553. I was typing it wrong. NN3553. Click. NN3553 was a star located in the United America space in the far reach of the frontier. It was orbited by the celestial object Scorcher. In 2183, a solar flare from there killed 6 Weyland-Yutani Corporation employees. And you, who were at the time the superior at that location of the medics team, were cleared of no wrongdoing. However, you're pretty sure that's still up for debate. They don't like you because of this situation, this frontier location causing problems, and you're under the belief that you're being sent on this mission, which just seems like a bad situation altogether. You're under the vibe that they're doing this to kind of fuck you over, and then also blame that instance on them, so the corporation liability is kind of off the hook.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Cool.
Any other questions for me?
No, I might have to tweak some of my skills and stuff like that because
Absolutely.
I'm not liking the spread on it. But
oh yeah, everybody has had the same issue. Once we got into like the discussion of the personal agenda, they were like, "Oh well, that doesn't fit with that I had planned initially at all." And they're like, "Well, we can change it." And they're like, "No, no, no, that's really good. I like that, but I just need to tweak my skills." So that's totally the vibe is chill. Just feel free to mish them around a bit.
Okay.
Move back in. All right, back into Gen Pop. I will personally type everything that I had mentioned into your agendas before next session. Probably some point tomorrow, to be completely honest. Just so you know, I'm not doing it like right away. That said, the next part of character creation, I think we're pretty much close to done. Personal agenda. Oh, buddies and rivals. Okay, so this is going to be done kind of out in the open, and it's a situation where it's going to possibly cause problems for player and then player character kind of understanding. Now, I just want to make sure that once we have the understanding of the personal agenda, we have the understanding of the character attribute stats, names, looks, all of that shit, despite John's vagrant efforts to make him look like someone that no, we're not doing that.
They bleed white.
This dork was posting like it again. It yeah, they probably do. But the focus is that what I want you to do is we went through the introduction of yourselves because Kimmy didn't want to be the only one who did it. Now we're going to go through a very brief introduction of yourselves, and I want to make sure you understand the personal agenda that I've given you, that information. You do not have to tip that at all. That is not information you have to reveal at any point to anyone, ever. So we're going to go ahead and start where we started before. We're just going to have Kimmy do it, actually. Kimmy's going to be the only one who does it this time. Kimmy, tell us about your character, and if you've named them, what their name is.
Okay, so my my character is Verity Keist. I'm playing a scientist. I think I want her to be very young, very new to this, so she's trying to prove herself, that she's going to be great at this. She's going to be. So, yeah, that's all I got for her so far.
So,
She's going to be very small, like a very small character. She's going to be the shortest possible.
and are we talking like young and kind of like happy to be here, plucky, and kind of like naive? I guess would be the best word to kind of describe it. Or are we talking about young, but like very focused on the work, very serious? Like what are we?
Oh, young, serious, very earnest. She wants to do her job well.
Okay, cool. So that's a good description. We like that. Brent, you're next. Go ahead and tell us about your scientist.
Raditz Babbitt is his name.
Okay.
He is very physically fit for a scientist. He works out pretty regularly. He is pretty smart. He seems, he's here because he's got a job to do, and he does. It's probably very annoying for people that aren't early morning people. He kind of like, I would imagine the ship, he could like jog around it. He'd probably definitely be doing that. And if he's not in the science lab, he's definitely lifting weights.
Okay. It's kind of like the scene from, well, I guess it's not the perfect representation, but if you've ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, like running the routes, that kind of stuff. Okay, so good. Let's go ahead and do John next. Tell us about your character. If you're muted, you're muted.
I think he said he was going to go feed his fish.
Gotta go feed some fish. Okay, we'll go ahead and assume he's listening. Hopefully he is, otherwise he'll have no idea the next part. Go ahead and do Lark. Go ahead and tell us about your medic.
I am listening.
Thank you.
My medic is Dr. Evelyn Lockhart. She is a neuropsychiatrist, which means she's an MD that has trained in surgical procedures, mostly regarding the brain, but in general, has done general surgery as well. But she specializes in connecting the physicality and chemistry of the brain to behavior. She is a person that exudes an air of extreme discipline. She's very serious about her work. But even though she has this very professional exterior, she also kind of has a very almost motherly, nurturing kind of quality to her. She is concerned about. She's always concerned about the mental well-being of those around her, and seems to be able to kind of guide that pretty well.
Perfect. John, since you're back, go ahead and tell us about your character.
All right, so I'm technically security for the ship. My name is Jimmy Joe Hoffman. Does not go by JJ.
Jojo?
He's okay. He's a grizzled Marine veteran, or colonial Marine veteran. So he's seen action. Purposely tasked for this team to make sure that nobody, make sure everybody's protected and that's someone that the company can trust.
Okay. And then the last but not least, Michael, tell us about your character.
Yep, so his name is Leon Hart. He's about 38 years old. Very serious. Also kind of in the line of like, you can tell he's probably seen some level of action before. Seems like, he was basically built for this kind of job in general with his demeanor and everything. Super serious. Very fit, but not necessarily like big and bulky kind of a thing. Very utilitarian looking, like his uniform does not have a ton of the flashy stuff on it necessarily like a lot of officers might, and also wears like more functional work boots as opposed to like a classic dressy shoe that you might have like the leaders be wearing normally. And then he has one really nice looking combat knife on his belt at all times.
Getting a lot of feedback from you, Kimmy and Lark. I don't know what's going on over there. Just noticed it a lot. There was a lot of like static. Thank you for the mute. But unfortunately, we're going to get right back into conversation. So based on descriptions, we have a buddy and a rival for each of you. Now, obviously, if I say, hey, Brent, you can pick your buddy and your rival first, people are going to hear him say that, and then they're going to kind of modulate their choices based on what he said, which is not at all what I want. I do not think that that is something that would be beneficial for us as a group, and it'll also lead to a potential where there are people who are all focusing on, let's just say it, obviously Brenta is going to get the large list of buddy cards, and Lark just is going to get all the rival cards, right?
Yeah.
That's just the way.
Remember, guys, I can write prescriptions.
Well, okay, well then maybe it's the opposite then. The main thing I want you to do at this point, at this opportunity,
Should we DM you it?
is you're going to DM me who you want to be your buddy and who you want to be your rival, and then I'm going to look at the list of options here, and then I'm going to ask people to correct. Now, what should ultimately happen is everybody should have at least one buddy, and everybody should have at least one rival. I definitely want that to be true. So when you send me your note as to who you got here, then we'll kind of like work through that together. Okay, so I've got one from one person. Okay. All right. R is all right. So we are all right. Ooh. Interesting. We okay, hold on. Interesting. R. Okay, perfect so far. Now, the buddy situation can definitely be one-sided. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So everybody has a buddy, and looks like Lark gets 2 buddies.
Yay!
Rival. I think that's going to have to be Kitty. Okay, so let me explain what I kind of metrically did here. I looked at what you did, and you guys did great. For some reason, you kind of fleshed it out so that not everybody was for everybody, etc. So, John, your buddy is Lark. Your reasoning for that is going to be fleshed out between you and Lark, but it's one-sided from you to her. And then, John, your rival is going to be Brent's character. And again, your reason for that is going to be determined by you, but definitely work with Brent as to why that's the case. Kimmy, what that means, I want to make sure that you understand why I'm saying it out loud. John, okay. Your kind of like reliance on or like friendship towards or like, affection towards Lark's character would obviously be very clearly noticed because she is very competent in understanding like psychology and stuff. So she knows you're like friendly. And then obviously if you're being a dick to someone, they're going to kind of understand that that's the case too. So understand that these initiating kind of stations are understood in kind of a how you are operatively kind of are interacting with people in that sense. Kimmy, your buddy is Michael, so you are very kind of looking at the captain of the ship as like a heroic figure for you, perhaps, or however you want to identify it. Work with Michael for that. And then your rival is, you don't like John. John's the big guy with the guns, scary, no thanks. And again, if you want to detail it differently, absolutely fair. Work with John on that. Lark, your buddy is Brent. Obviously, as far as science goes, he appears to be the more serious of the scientists. Him and Hector. And your rival is Michael. You're not a fan of the kind of authority figure. Typical Lark. Bullshit. Brent.
Wow. Wow.
I'm just going to read it like I see it.
Michael, what was your character's name again?
Guy you don't like?
Leon.
Leon. Okay.
I don't even like his name. Brent, your buddy is Lark. So Lark did get 2 buddies. And I need to modify. Kimmy doesn't have a buddy. So Brent, I know you had mentioned that on your note you would want Kimmy to be your rival.
Yes.
So I'm going to give the last 2 people an opportunity here. Actually, no, I'm going to give you an opportunity here. Do you think that Kimmy could be your buddy, or do you prefer that she is your rival? We need one or we need both for it, period. That's just going to be the case.
Yeah, I think they can definitely be the buddy as well.
Okay, so then we're going to switch your buddy to Kimmy, and then we're going to switch your rival to 1, 2, 3, 4. I have everybody for rival, right? Brent, John, Michael, Lark. So your rival can be your second option, which again was Michael. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we need a Kimmy for rival.
Who has me as their rival?
Okay, hold on. This is where it gets messy. Okay, so Michael, your buddy was listed as John. Nobody has John as their buddy. Makes sense for your character to be kind of linked to that. And then your rival was listed as Lark. Honestly, that's clean. Now, where it gets messy is Brent, and it kind of gets messy in that area there, mainly because John and Lark were the 2 he had requested for Friendo. Now, Kimmy doesn't make much sense for your... Well, it does make a lot of sense for your scientist. They're the young scientist that's kind of there on the come-up. Now, you wrote down rival for Kimmy, which I understand, too. You're, like, looking at them as kind of, like, pathetic, beneath you. They're just a liability. And if we want to focus on that, we can. Do you want it to... your determination on Kimmy is going to have us redirect where everything else goes. So how does Old Man Scientist look at young punk scientist?
I definitely think he could. I could see it either way. If Kimmy's definitely gonna be the like very like up and coming one, I could see Buddy maybe he's gonna try to lean her into what he's trying to do or something.
Okay. Do you want to focus that one in then? You want to lock that in? Good guy to her? Okay, so Kimmy is the buddy. You're kind of trying to serve as a mentor there. Now for rival, that leaves us with... I'm trying to do the math here. Michael's already got a bad guy. Lark's already got a bad guy. Kimmy doesn't. So what we need to do is anybody after what we described, is anybody willing to switch their rival to Kimmy? I would very clearly kind of focus in on Lark, because Michael is your bad guy, and Michael was one that Brent has suggested as his bad guy. But I understand if you don't want to switch off of it. Kimmy being your bad guy makes a little less sense. Go ahead, John, what were you going to say?
They're the younger scientists, right?
Yes.
So I'm kind of went with like Jimmy Joe prefers people who are more regimented and also
And
more structured.
what that does for us is makes us have a rival, like straight across. So Kimmy's rival is John, and your rival is her. So why that's perfect is she's very much scared of you all the time, and you're not seeing it as she's scared of you all the time. You're seeing it as her being insubordinate, not following
Yes.
security procedures, etc.
Yes.
She's annoying as shit to you, and she
So that's-
hates you because you're mean to her.
And that's why I didn't want Raditz, because Raditz wakes up early, goes for runs, does lifting,
Yeah,
right?
right,
Yeah.
100%. That would make
it's
no
that
sense.
structure that we like.
Now,
Yes.
what that means is when we come to it, your rival was John Brent.
Yes.
So we're changing that to Kimmy.
Already done.
Brent cannot be Brent's rival. That is impossible. So Lark, your rival is still Michael, and it cannot be Brent. So we cannot switch you off that table. Kimmy, John to Kimmy, that makes perfect sense. Michael, obviously, I understand hating Lark is super fun and makes sense, but it could also be the case that you don't like the main scientist, which Brent is, because they think they're in charge of the operation and kind of try to kind of act a bit outside of what you consider their station. Again,
Oh, that's good.
I don't mind
Did you hate more than one person?
You're only allowed to have one rival in this instance. These are kind of important situations that will cause stress and relieve stress accordingly.
I'm definitely down for that. Like I said in messaging you, I wasn't 100% sure anyways on the rival part, so I
Perfection.
think that works pretty well actually.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and lock in Brent as the rival for Michael, and then that means we can move the rival for Brent to Lark. So, let me go over everything. John, Lark is your buddy. She's the psychiatrist type. She's very motherly. She seems like a really cool person, and she has the interest of everybody at heart. And she's probably the type of person on board who's kind of like, in a security situation, will be like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll take charge with him. He seems to be the warrior type. He seems to be the, the hunter-gatherer type. That we're going to go with that. And then Kimmy, obviously, we discussed. She's young. She's afraid of you. She sees you as like a threat, and she doesn't listen to orders very good, and that annoys the shit out of you.
Yes.
Kimmy, and again, flesh that out with your buddy / rival in your own time in DMs or what have you, if you wish to. Then we've got Kimmy. Michael is obviously your buddy. You see them as kind of like the captain. They're the important guy, etc. And then John, obviously, as discussed, scary, big gunman. Lark, Brent is the most senior scientist in the crew. You see that as kind of like a very important, like you worked hard to be where you're at, he worked hard to where he's at, and obviously you hate authority, so Michael's your problem. Brent, young up-and-comer scientist, working together with them.
Lost somebody.
Yeah, it was Michael, I think.
Yeah, he said his PC crashed.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, he did.
So then Lark, we already discussed. Brent, Kimmy, young up-and-coming scientist. Lark is your rival because you see her as... What? Someone's going to say something? No. Oh, so Lark, you see as your right... Am I muted?
No, you're not muted.
Oh. You would see Lark as your rival Brent because they are in the medical field, and a lot of the way they kind of operate is just kind of like when you think of scientists, even though some scientists would say that doctors are scientists, some kind of crazy idiots, I don't know, you do not believe that's the case, and you don't feel like they're kind of what they bring to the table is functionally necessary. And that may be because of your personal agenda, that may be because of your background. Doctors just seem like not important to you.
It's fine. Just come into my office. We can sit down and talk about that. I'm sure we can get to the root of it.
And then last but not least, Michael would see John as the most serious person at the table when it comes to like operations. And only other person who might have seen kind of some action out here in space. And then Michael's rival is Brent, because Brent is the senior scientist and thinks he has charge of the situation or mission operations in some instances. And you feel that that rivalry will kind of present itself a little bit more thoroughly in the mission. Okay, any questions on buddy rivals? No? Okay. We already gave cash. Cash has been allotted. Your gear and your signature item. I believe there was detail for how that's done. Signature item can be kind of something made up, and it's kind of outlined in your role as to what that can be. And then your cash, I gave you your money, but you're going to choose 2 starting items. Those have already been selected, I hope.
I have a question about them.
Okay.
So I'm looking at an item, this Sigurdsson system diagnostic device. At the end it says Comtech +2. Does that mean you need to have a Comtech of +2, or it gives you
It gives you a
plus
contact
2
of +2.
So it gives you a +2 to your Comtech
Mm-hmm.
by having it. Oh, awesome, sweet. Okay.
Correct.
Alright, answers that.
Do we have to stick to the what's in the?
If you can justify an item outside of that, we can discuss it. But
Okay.
yeah, what are you thinking?
I was gonna look
Okay.
at what's available for.
I would say
armaments.
if you want to look at Colonial Marshal as well, again, you are not a Colonial Marshal, you are a Colonial Marine
I know.
for stats. But if you want to look at their signature item options as well and their gear options as well, you can kind of pull off their list. It's very similar but different. So whereas a
I'm already sold.
You're in? You saw the stuff that you needed?
Yes, that's something I wanted.
The drugs?
No, wait, what?
D6 doses of Never Sleep. If any of the gear that's listed in your stuff has a dice roll of it, you can roll the dice, but before rolling the dice, you can also elect to sacrifice $200 of your cash, which may or may not be important, to just maximize the roll.
I was gonna pick the shotgun.
Yeah, cool.
Sweet.
And then, yeah, so you'll have 2 gear items, 1 signature item, and pretty much that's it. You won't be able to buy any other gear for a mission.
Welcome back, Michael.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. I'm sorry.
No worries,
It
no
just
worries.
all restarted and was doing some loading process and everything. Weird.
Sounds terrible. Any questions regarding gear, signature items, money?
Where did my person go?
Nope. I think the only other thing would be health is what we start with, and that equals our strength score, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
And it should automatically lock that on the sheet, I think.
It
Oh,
did
it
not.
renamed me to Colonial
Oh.
Marshal. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't do that for me either, Lark.
Lame.
Oh no!
John just
did.
hates women, and that's why we had issues with our stuff.
Yeah, John
My
hates
dude.
women. That is true. I am a misogynist.
Canonically correct.
What are you saying to me?
It fucked up my character.
You dragged and dropped Colonial Marshal into your sheet, didn't you?
No, I didn't mean to do that.
But you did do that, didn't you?
Not the Spain.
Yeah, you're gonna have to rebuild from scratch. Bear with me here for a second. Duplicate.
Sucks.
Duplicate. I've duplicated everybody besides John. If they
Yeah, don't
have
do that.
similar issues, I'm not going to rewind the game. I could, but it does it for tomorrow or for yesterday. So everybody's
makes sense.
sheets were built today. What I would like for you to do is go ahead and fill out your health with a number of pips equal to your strength score, I believe. Let me double check. Health. Pretty sure that's correct. Health. You start the game with a number of health points equal to your strength score. Talents can modify your health, and you suffer damage. Your health score is reduced, and then you get to dying time. Great. Okay, well then it looks like everything basically is kind of satisfied. I'll need to put the personal agendas into your personal agenda slot for Act 1. And then I am going to be putting forward... you've already put your rivals and your buddies, right? I think there's a section for that. I don't know where. If not...
It's relationships. It's right under the personal agenda.
Thank you so much. Yeah, on the left side, top left side, underneath personal agenda. Thank you, Lark. Fill that out. Your stress level starting at 0 unless something's causing it to do otherwise. And then your gear, go ahead and load out. Make sure you're taking your the gear that's associated with your role. So I'm looking at sheets. Who doesn't have their gear already? Michael, I think you're missing yours.
I'm working on it right now.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah, I'm
perfect.
remaking my character.
Yeah.
The only thing I haven't decided on is signature item.
Sure. And if you want to take some time and figure out your signature item, kind of like connect it a little bit more to your personal agenda, as you think about it, that's fine, absolutely fine. I will say that when it comes to the officer, the only signature item that I would basically be barring from you, but I think you already chose, like a combat knife from like past.
Yes.
The ship's cat is off limits. If ship's cat is an item that's listed on your thing, do not take it because your ship does not have a cat. The
Kitty
space
cat.
station does.
I wanted to so bad at first, but I realized
Too many
when you
cats.
mentioned cat, I was like, it's definitely not going to work.
Too many cats. Okay.
We would all have a cat. It'd be like fucking Hogwarts.
Speaking of cats, I've got one blocking the camera. I think that's pretty much it for character creation. I don't really have much in the way of starting up as of right now. I do want to mention that narratively, where we'll be starting is right where the situation kind of outlined. You are awakened from cryosleep after 3 months down. You arrive at the 26 Draconis location, which is near a black hole where 2 stars are being swallowed by the black hole, and so are several planets. Erebos is a plasma trawler space station that is outside of that kind of area, not directly like inside or terribly close to the event horizon, but close enough to receive kind of gravitational effects of the anomaly. And the goal, the reason why you are here, is not to research like what you would presume are aliens or anything crazy. You are looking into what are known as the Erebos lights. These lights that are present in space around the fragments of the planets that have been destroyed in this region that appear to exhibit life-like features and may or may not be intelligent. Any questions regarding the premise of where we will be starting when we do session 1? Okay, and the way I'm going to do that is we're going to, at the beginning of next session, just so you are aware, when we begin, we are effectively going to be beginning just as we did with Chariot of the Gods. You're all going to come to the table, you're getting the coffee, you're preparing the ship to dock with Erebos. You are preparing yourself after reviewing the message from Mr. Bishop. Any questions before I sign off for session 0?
How many sessions are you planning for this?
So this segment of the story can go anywhere between 3 to 6. depending on how quickly you kind of maneuver through it. And once we complete sessions, the last session, we will then from that point determine if we are going to continue into a more campaign-driven story with the survivors, or if we are going to kind of recalculate and determine if, like, if that was good enough for us and, like, we just want to leave it there, or if we want to try something different. It's entirely up to where we're at mentally as a group at that point. And if some people or the majority of the group is like, I want to play more Alien, and like there are a couple people who are like, I'm not terribly a fan and I want to kind of bounce, we could definitely play musical chairs a bit. But with this group, based just on the prologue or like the one shot we did, I'm very confident that we're going to have a lot of fun. Like I feel like this is a very well assembled crew, or team of role players. So I think that when we get to the end, it's probably going to be the case that everyone's going to be on board or close to the same track for whatever we want to do next. Does that sound fair, Kimmy? Guess not.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought I said yeah.
Oh, I
think
couldn't hear
there's
you.
something wrong with my mic. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's all right. I was like, damn, okay, jeez. No worries.
Does that
no
sound fair? Dead silence.
Sad silence. I mean, did anybody else hear? Or am I crazy?
No,
I
I
didn't
didn't
hear
hear.
Okay, cool.
No, they were muted.
I figured that it was, I was like, I obviously made a jest of it because I didn't think it was you genuinely being silly. Okay, so any other questions? And yeah, depending on activity too, because again, 3 to 6 is basically what it outlines. There's obviously room for more kind of narrative play in these, and since you're bringing your own characters to the table here, there's obviously a lot more room for you guys to just sit at a coffee table and talk, right? So again, 3 to 6 is kind of like the general window for the campaign in question, but it could be much more than that for just the Heart of Darkness segment of this. And maybe you guys fucking speed run it and we do it in 2. Like it just depends on how we engage with it, to be completely honest. But I have a feeling that it'll probably yield at minimum 3, if not the full 6 or more, based on the
Can you make a copy of my character now?
yeah.
Thank you.
Done and done. Any other questions?
I have 2 questions actually. I was muted a second ago. Sorry.
Okay.
For if something gives me a bonus, do I just go ahead and add that directly to my base skill?
Yeah, you can, but I would say that you just kind of keep it understood because it may be the case that whatever you have isn't on your person. There's also circumstances where it runs out of power, ammunition, what have you. So keep that in mind as well. Whatever gear it is does have its own limitations.
Cool. And then additionally, encumbrance. Do we have to round that up? Because it's telling me I have to round it up. I have a 0.5 in here.
Yeah, you should be rounding that up.
Okay. That's it.
Cool. Any others? Okay. So then, yeah, we'll begin next session with you kind of entering into the Draconis or 26 Draconis area, and then we'll be moving into docking with the Erebos and meeting the crew on site. Okay, thanks for watching those that did on this session 0. If you know secrets and stuff, don't feel like limited that you can't post stuff in the chat. It's fine. I think it's funnier if there's like small little bits of candy that are left for people to be confused and not know what's going on. Also keep in mind too, everybody doesn't really understand the full length and breadth of their characters yet, as the agendas they selected will lead into different agenda tacks based on what they are role playing and the agendas that we kind of have in Act 2 and Act 3 as we move into the narrative a bit more deeply. And yeah, I really look forward to this. This should be very exciting. Again, we have a very avid Alien fan in the crew here, but I'm pretty sure that there is something in this module specifically that is technically canon, and has been featured in the comics a bit, that she has not seen and will be very interesting for her to check out. Very
I'm
cool,
so excited.
Very-
I'm so excited.
very cool addition to the universe. The RPG's lore is immaculate. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end it a bit early this evening, and next session we'll do a full one. See you next Tuesday. Oh, we will happen to be running a game
God.
on Tuesday, which is next week. I shouldn't say that. All right, ciao. See you then. See you. Oh wait.